Unfortunately, there appeared to have been some type of a disagreement which led to some shots being fired.
2 people are in custody after almost 30 shots were fired and 1 person was injured in downtown Champaign last night. Good evening, I'm Jen Lask. It happened in a city parking lot near Neal and Hill Street. They are 20-year-old Juwan Brown and 25-year-old Alan Baines. WCIA 3's Andy Olson has more on what happened and how the city is responding.
Even during a pandemic, downtown Champaign can be a busy place. When shots rang out early Saturday morning, eyewitnesses say there were close to 100 people socializing in the lot. Police say the shooting was related to an argument. It was the final straw in the city wanting to put a stop to these gatherings.
Today, when we unfortunately learned that there was a shooting last night, kind of related to one of these gatherings, the city staff decided that it was time that we needed to go ahead and put some new restrictions in place.
This is the parking lot off of Neal Street where the argument and shooting happened. Police say they collected 28 shell casings of different types of ammunition, meaning more than one gun was used in the exchange. Police say Juwan Brown and Alan Baines left the scene in a car before crashing near Neal and University. They were both arrested on weapon charges after a loaded gun was found in the car. A third man in their car had been shot in the foot. He was taken to the hospital. The 2 city-owned parking lots near downtown will now close at 9 p.m. this weekend. It comes down to limiting the spread of COVID-19 as much as they can.
It's just something we're slightly worried about. We want to just make sure that our community is as safe as possible, that we're all doing everything we can to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and properly following all of our social distancing guidelines.
In Champaign, Andy Olson, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
The lot's Washington Street entrance is the only way in and out tonight and tomorrow. That is already in effect because it started at 9. City employees will be at the entrance making sure no one comes in after that time. The lot will be locked at midnight. Cars that are still there at that time will have to be moved when the lot opens at 7 the next morning. And police say 1 person is dead after a shooting in downtown Springfield. The department says officers had been monitoring a large crowd gathering outside a bar on South 5th Street, and a fight broke out and someone fired shots. Police found a victim who was rushed to the hospital and died. While they were trying to treat that victim at the scene, officers say the crowd became aggressive and began pushing their way in. Another victim later arrived at the ER who was stabbed in the back, and that person is still being treated. Police are investigating after a teenager was shot in Decatur early this morning. It happened in the 1200 block of West Lincoln Park Drive around 2:30. Police found a 17-year-old there who had been shot. The teen was taken to a hospital with life-threatening injuries. And if you have any information, contact police. The search for the second of 2 boys who went missing on the Illinois River this week has come to a tragic end. The body of 15-year-old Briston Dunmeyer was found late this morning on the Cass County side of the river, and the body of his brother, 12-year-old Jordan, was found yesterday. The 2 had last been seen Thursday night when they went under the water at the junction of the Sangamon and Illinois rivers. Loved ones gathered for a vigil for Briston and Jordan around 8:30 tonight at the town square. And WCIA spoke with Briston and Jordan's aunt and cousins before it began, and they say they're devastated but grateful to see all of the support.
I think it brought peace, it brought growth, and it brought gratitude that I didn't even know that it has existed. Like she said, she's truly amazed at the people that showed up. I can't even thank people enough for coming together and supporting one community.
Multiple emergency response agencies, including some from the Quad Cities and Wisconsin, helped the Beardstown Fire and Rescue Team search for the 2. Officials say words can't express the sadness their community feels right now. The Honor Guard is a group of volunteer veterans that perform military rites at veterans' funerals. They serve in all kinds of weather conditions at all hours of the day, unpaid. The pandemic has made it hard for them to continue these rites this year. And after Danville's chapter lost one of its former Honor Guard members, they came together to pay tribute at the Danville National Cemetery. WCIA 3's Gabrielle Cook has more.
Bernie Llewellyn was someone who left a lasting impact on people's lives whenever he crossed their path. I learned this from his friends and family who gathered to celebrate his life.
A lot of people come up and said they're going to miss Bernie. You know, he was very outgoing. He had a good sense of humor, and he had a lot of good friends. And those friends, they're going to miss him.
Bernie died on April 9th at the age of 95. But due to COVID-19, the family was only able to gather 9 people during his burial. His son, Steve Llewellyn, said this gave them the opportunity to properly honor his life, and he hopes to continue his legacy.
He was a good dad, a good husband, you know, and those kind of traits, just a good family man. And in these days, we need family. And so it's hope to carry those traits on.
Bernie served in the Navy, then later joined the American Legion and Honor Guard. Throughout his time on the Honor Guard, he made friends he would have for a lifetime.
We took a trip to see the Cardinals and the Cubs play one time, a bunch of us, and Bernie had a great time. He was about 91 at the time.
And something that might not have meant much to someone but meant a lot to Bernie, ketchup.
I'll never forget one of the passions he had was ketchup. And, you know, we used to get these little packets, and they were never enough. So Bernie said, why can't we have bottles on the table? And Tom Morris was commander at the time, and the next day there was a bottle of ketchup on every table.
He also had a kind heart, always looking out for someone he could help.
One of our fellows, he had some medical problems, so Bernie and I went and mowed his grass and all that stuff. That's just the way we work.
In Danville, I'm Gabrielle Cook, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
WCIA's Honor Guard Day of Giving was canceled this year because of COVID-19, but Next Star Media Charitable Foundation still wanted to give back and donated $5,000 earlier this week. Learn how you can help as well by visiting our website, WCIA.com. For the second time since late May, Illinois is reporting more than 2,000 new cases of COVID-19. The state reported 2,190 new cases today, as well as 18 deaths. That brings the state's total to more than 192,000 cases and more than 7,600 deaths. The preliminary 7-day statewide positivity rate is 4.2%. As the U.S. approached 5 million confirmed coronavirus cases today, President Trump signed economic stimulus measures. The executive moves would bypass Congress after negotiations collapsed this week. CBS News correspondent Michael George reports from New York.
Coronavirus disease.
President Trump signed the executive actions at his New Jersey golf club after talks hit a wall on Capitol Hill.
We've had it, and we're going to save American jobs and provide relief to the American workers.
The president's move Saturday aims to defer evictions, freeze payroll taxes for workers making about $100,000 or less, and extend 0% interest on student loans. On the most contentious issue, the president gives unemployed workers an extra $400 in weekly benefits, with states footing a quarter of the bill. Democrats want to extend the $600 weekly supplement that recently expired. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer released a statement tearing into the measures, saying in part, instead of passing a bill, now President Trump is cutting families' unemployment benefits and pushing states further into budget crises, forcing them to make devastating cuts to life or death services. Whether President Trump has the legal standing to act on his own remains unclear.
If we get sued, it's somebody that doesn't want people to get money. Okay, and that's not going to be a very popular thing.
On Friday, the government reported the jobless rate eased to 10.2% as employers added close to 2 million jobs last month. But economists say there's still a long and uncertain road ahead. Michael George, CBS News.
The president also said he would be working on cuts in income tax and taxes on capital gains. The state is coming to terms with how big the financial impact of the coronavirus is. Illinois' budget is already relying on billions of dollars in loans from the federal government. Treasurer Michael Frerick said that even though the stock market is bouncing back, that does not mean the economy is back.
So in terms of our investments in the stock market, yes, they took a big hit. Our pension funds took a big hit. A lot of that has come back, and so that looks okay. But if you look at the prognosis of an economy that shrunk 12% in a quarter, this really is without precedent since they've been doing this.
Comptroller Susana Mendoza released a report putting the state's financial problems into perspective, and she says that the fallout could be worse than any the state has faced before without that federal funding. Environmental advocates dropped the newest version of the Clean Energy Jobs Act this week. The changes come after the federal investigation into ComEd came to light. The act is meant to reduce carbon emissions in the state to zero and shift the makeup of the energy industry.
We always just assumed the utilities had a lot of clout in Springfield. Now we're realizing the utilities were deliberately manipulating the process illegally to get their goals accomplished in Springfield. And for us in the Clean Jobs Coalition and those of us who are working on the Clean Energy Jobs Act, this really provides an opportunity to lead the conversation rather than the utilities.
The Clean Energy Jobs Act has been making the rounds in the Capitol for the last 2 years, but hasn't been able to pass. And Amelia, it's kind of an okay night as far as your birthday goes.
Hey,
right?
it's holding off for my birthday. All that precipitation, luckily, is not going to be upon us until late tomorrow night. So we have about 24 hours or so. So it is holding off for my birthday. We even saw some warmer temperatures today into the 80s, right where we should be. But we're going to be seeing an even bigger warm-up, followed by some more precipitation. All the details right after this.